My name is Jr Lomeli, Jr. And I've been in school district since pre-kindergarten. Born and raised in this community. My parents immigrated here from Mexico. I'm the first generation here. And going through the schooling, I was learning the English language. Although I was always here, I was learning it and made the transition into full English somewhere around 4th grade to my memory. But always enjoyed sports. My father always wanted to keep me busy, so he made sure he put me in Little League, baseball, basketball, soccer, and didn't really play football till high school. So mostly my youth was baseball, basketball, and soccer. Soccer was sports for my family. It's a sport that my dad played. As a matter of fact, that's the only sport that he played. My mother was an athlete. She played volleyball in elementary schools, and to my knowledge, they say she was very good at it. But in high school, I started football for the first time. Coach Wilbur at 8th grade was my teacher. He transitioned to the high school, and he actually put me on the list. Says, "You're playing football." And so I played football. I didn't know anything. They put me at linebacker. I think I was a little nervous about the first practice. I never played football before. All I knew was what a quarterback was and go for a bomb. I didn't know much because I played it in the streets with my friends, but I didn't really know organized football. And he put me as a linebacker. And he says, just chase the guy with the ball. So I did, but he failed to tell me that they were going to try to block me. So I learned very quickly that I needed to defend myself or try to get around these blocks. And it was very natural to me playing soccer. In soccer, you have to chase a guy, try to take the ball away with your feet. You have to get within that distance. In baseball, you had to run down a fly ball and catch it with your hands. But in soccer, you have to go and head the ball. So a lot of what I knew in soccer, it was easy for me to transition into football. And so the game wasn't very difficult for me because I think of soccer. I just didn't need to know the rules. So I remember doing blocks, angle blocks and stuff like that. And then by the end of the season, I was a receiver. So I remember them having to change my jersey number because I believe I started at 60 and then I ended up with an 86. So throughout my high school career, I even played quarterback. I came back my sophomore year and I was a starting quarterback. They used me more like a running quarterback, but they used me as a tight end. So I played tight end all that year and then came back my senior year, and there was debate whether I was going to be the quarterback or not. Coaches had asked me if I became the linebacker that I couldn't do quarterback, I couldn't do both. I just felt I was more consistent in that position than anything else. So it ended up being a good decision because I ended up making the All-Star team for the county. I was elected to be in the county All-Stars. Did 7 tackles, 2 sacks in the All-Star game. And it was a big deal because I was actually on TV for the first time. For my parents, that was a big deal. And I also was elected All-League. I can't remember if I was first or second team. It's been years. But being the first one ever in my family, nuclear and extended, to go to a university, it was a big deal. But, it was a big transition. Coming from a little town that at the time maybe had 10, 11,000 inhabitants, going to a university that had about 36,000 students, that was bigger than your hometown, was very intimidating. So, I think the love of this town and the love of me growing up in this community, the teachers, how I felt they cared, the coaches, everything together, I think, brought me back. Like, you always want to give back, and I thought that being a teacher and a coach is a way that I gave back. And particularly, as we talked about in soccer, that discipline wasn't there. There wasn't somebody there to guide us in that sport with all the talent that this community has in that sport. First off, thank you to Fillmore High School. The memories here, it made me the person that I am. You hear the saying, I bleed blue. Well, I bleed blue, and knowing I was coming to this interview, I wore blue, so I just love it. I love Fillmore. This is where I grew up. So my name is Jose Luis Lomeli, known as Coach Lomeli, and I began my coaching path in soccer in the early 2001. I started with the girls. Most people don't know that. Coached a couple of years of coaching the girls, and the position became available for the varsity boys position. So I didn't think about it twice. I really wanted that position, being an alumni to it. And the first year, I remember telling John Wilbur, which was the principal, I go, don't expect much this year. I got to change the culture here. And sure enough, there was some resistance from some students. You know, they weren't used to the discipline that I brought. And we ended up 500. You know, we didn't even make CIF that year. But the second year, 2005 season, half the kids were there. They were juniors. They were really hungry. They really wanted. They bit into the whole discipline stuff. And we didn't win first. We could have. I had to bench my starting goalie to Carpinteria, which ended up winning the league. But we both made CIF. Carpinteria, I believe, lost in the second round, and we made it all the way to the finals. In 2005, after having the bad season in 2004, not making CIF, the kids really worked hard. They really bit into the whole discipline thing, and they just worked hard the whole year. It wasn't all candy, you know. There was, like I said, I had student athletes that still resist the discipline a little bit. We got second, and we ended up making it all the way to the finals. The second time in school history that the team actually made it, and we were successful. We won. We beat Mojave 4-0, and you can imagine the first time, you know, that's what everybody plays for, is a CIF title. You know, this 2005 team, the Pioneers, I call them the Pioneers. They were the first, you know, and this team brings back a lot of memories, emotions, coming back on the bus ride, after winning it all, seeing the faces, the smiles, and going back to all the hard work that these kids did. Some practices at 5:30 in the morning for disciplinary issues or for any reason at all, but they didn't quit. They stuck to the plan. And to this day, I still got kids contacting me about this year and, you know, the championship. And I see them in the streets, how proud they are of the ring they won. Well, this team inducted in the Hall of Fame means the world to me. It's my heart, my first, and it's gonna go on forever, no matter what. They were the first. And I know they feel the same way.